Welcome to my latest Battle Reports 2000 point match play game of Death Guard versus Black Templars. Today, the Crusading Sons of Dawn will be going head-to-head against my Death Guard warband, known as the End of All Things. We're meeting in this rocky expanse with this ruined town in the middle of the battle grid. We're playing battle lines. That's the one with only 4 objectives on it, but you do have lengthway deployment. One army will be deploying on this side. Don't know who's got this edge yet. One army will be deploying on this side, and we've both taken the mission-specific secondary objectives, which is you get 2 points for controlling that in your command phase, 2 points for controlling that one in your command phase. So these ones are going to be worth 4 and an extra 3 if you actually get to your opponents. The reasons why we've both taken that one is because primaries are a thing. 5 points for a primary, 10 points for 2 primaries, 15 points if you control more than your opponent, and 2. So you want these ones anyway to get your primaries. So we're both taking them for the mission secondaries. This scenery is from gamemat.eu. The battle mat is from urbanmats.com. 2,000 points worth of match play, Death Guard versus Black Templars. And welcome back to the channel, Plant. Say hi, Plant.
Hi, Plant.
Thanks for coming down again.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So last time you were here, you took on the ravenous Tyranids.
Yes.
And this time, Death Guard.
Yes.
I thought I'd be very kind to you, very friendly.
You were very kind.
Very kind, very friendly, and give you a challenge because you've got a new book. New Black Templars got all the toys.
Yes.
So here's a proper challenge. Have you ever faced Mortarion before?
No.
And here's my 2,000 point army, the Death Guard, the End of All Things. It's a single battalion with Mortarion in it. And Death Guard, of course, have disgustingly resilient, so they reduce all damage by 1, and they've got contagion range. If you get within contagion range, it reduces the toughness of the enemy units as well. And essentially, Mortarion, 6 units of 5 Plague Marines and some characters and some vehicles. So what we've got here is this fella, the Foul Blightspawn. I've given him the Viscous Death spray. So his spray, 12-inch spray, is you roll 2d6, it auto hits, and it's -3/2 damage. It's strength 8 as well with the Viscous Death. Viscous Death means it can re-roll those number of auto hits. And he's also a fight last, fight first character because I've given him Revolting Stench Vats Relic. So within 6 inches, enemy units cannot be selected to fight first, and within 3 inches, you can point at a unit and make them fight last. He's got all the shenanigans, all the toys. His character can't be targeted. However, Plant has brought Assassinate along for one of your secondaries as well. So if you kill all of these, you'll get 13. I've got Assassinate as well. Kill all of yours, I'll get 13. So we're both fighting over the mission secondaries in the middle, and we're both trying to kill each other's characters. And hopefully my fight first, fight last spitty dude of death will help keep some alive. Then I've brought along my Malignant Plague Caster, not a sorcerer, Malignant Plague Caster, Delirium the Corruptor. Here's Miasma of Pestilence and Putrescent Vitality. Then I brought along Gollus. Is this Gollus or Pollus? That's Gollus, because Pollus is dead. And I've spent a CP on giving him a Warlord trait, because Mortarion automatically takes one and is your Warlord. And I've given him Hulking Physique. That gives him an extra wound, and it gets him essentially transhuman physiology. Can't be wounded on a 1, 2, 3. So he's got 7 wounds with a 4 invulnerable save and can't be wounded on a 1, 2, 3. He's good for dropping in the backfield and things like that and being really annoying. And then we come on to Mortarion. So in total, he's got 4 Warlord traits. 3 you get anyway, and then 1 you pick from one of the Plague Companies. And the one I picked from the Plague Company is the one that stops you... it turns off rerolls at 9 inches. At 9 inches, enemy units cannot reroll hit rolls, reroll wound rolls, and they can't overwatch him. And then at 3 inches with Living Plague, he turns off auras as well. The closer you get to this demon Primarch, the Lord of Death, the more it nerfs your army. 9 inches, your toughness goes down and no rerolls because you're in contagion range. 3 inches, your auras, so any aura abilities like captain abilities, things like that. It doesn't mean the captain needs to be within 3 inches. It means if an enemy unit is within 3 inches of him, they can't be affected by any auras. And of course, he's an absolute boss with the Arch-Contaminant Warlord trait as well for re-rolling wounds with plague weapons. 7 attacks with a strength 16. Scythe of Doom at -4 D3 plus 3 damage. And he can turn those 7 attacks into 21 attacks. And he hits on 2s. And he allows rerolls of 1. And he can point at a unit and give them all free rerolls. And he can point that on himself as well, because it's a character core. He's a beast, 490 point absolute beast to throw at the Black Templars lines. See, Plant of Generous is a proper demon, a proper sorcerer to take down.
I should have got the Grey Knights.
Hack his head off and make him a trophy with his wings and everything. In the Plague Marine squads, 4 of the squads have got blight launchers and no upgrades. And 2 of the squads are a bit more punchy. There's flails in there and an axe and extra plague weapons and things like that. So 4 shooty, 2 punchy, some rhinos for them to jump in, hence squads of 5s. I know they're not squads of 7, but it's match play. So I'm trying to, spread out as many troops as I can. And then 2 plague burst crawlers with entropy cannons because they're too good not to take. Essentially, this list is, here's Mortarion, catch, throw him forward. And then bombard the crap out of your opponent with the tanks in the backfield and try and do all the scoring you can with the troops. That's pretty much it. So yeah, taking the mission specific one, taking kill characters amongst the Black Templars, and I'll also be taking engage because I can spread out all over the place. 2,000 points on the nose of Death Guard. And here's 2,000 points worth of Black Templars on the nose. It's a single battalion as well, but you spent like 5 CP already to give them all the toys. Talk us through what Black Templars do, what their tactics and tactics are and things like that.
Cool. So Black Templars are zealous crusaders. What this means in practice is they reroll charges, they reroll advances, and they have a 5-up shrug against mortal wounds.
And I can do some mortal wounds to you. So that'll come in handy.
I hope so.
Okay. Right, now let's go through the army. Who you got down here?
Lovely. So right at the front is my Marshal in Terminator armour.
Nice.
So this is Marshal Bastion. For those who may have seen the previous battle report, he's been bestowed with relic Terminator armour, specially fitted for a Primarch captain.
Nice.
He's got himself a lovely relic blade. And a rather nice storm shield.
Okay.
So his warlord trait is the frontline commander. So keeping that from the last time, +1 to advance, +1 to charge for himself. And then if he gets in, anybody else who charges the unit that he has charged also gets +1 to charge.
So he's got reroll charges and +1 to charge.
Yes.
And this model is available from forgeworld.com, which is a subsidiary of Games Workshop, and is absolutely glorious. So Storm Shield, Relic Blade, you said you're giving him something else as well.
Yes, so he has the relic, the Aquila Immortis. So basically what that is it's a fancy Aquila, gives him +1 attack, so it brings up the profile to what a Primarch captain would normally have. And it also gives him +1 toughness.
Ooh, so a toughness 5 dude.
Yes.
With a 1-up save, because he's got Storm Shield and Terminator armour. With loads of wounds and loads of attacks. I like him.
Pretty much.
And of course, being a proper Black Templars player, you've brought along the Emperor's Champion.
Never leave home without them.
He's good.
He's really good, especially now with the new book. So he is now a Primaris character. Obviously, I would hesitate to say upgrading from a firstborn, but he now has all the toys that a Primaris would get. So an extra wound, an extra attack. I spent the CP to give him a extra warlord trait from the Black Templar book, which is the Paragon of Fury. So what that does is, on the charge, he gets +1 strength, and he also has the potential to do mortal wounds to units within engagement range on a 5-up.
Cool. Okay. So reroll charges, +1 strength on the charge, and mortal wounds. Apothecary?
Apothecary. So standard Apothecary. There is a marker next to him, but that's not a chief apothecary with the warlord trait. Okay. This is a standard apothecary. However, I've given him the relic, the Aurelian Shroud. So what that is it's just a standard relic you get in the Black Templar book. Point at a unit within 3 inches at the start of either command phase, and that unit gets a 4-up invulnerable save.
So once per game, shove out a 4-up invulnerable save. We did work out it's an aura.
Yes.
So if you are within 3 inches of Mortarion, that aura cannot be turned on. But once per battle, given a 4-up invulnerable save and stuff, on a core unit?
On a core infantry unit.
Core infantry unit, so not on any of the vehicles in the backfield. Why don't you want him to be a chief apothecary? They're just so good.
Because they're probably a little bit too good.
Yeah, but you're going against Mortarion. Are you sure you don't want to spend one?
I'm very sure.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It's Mortarion, though.
I also don't have the points to make him a chief apothecary.
The Lord of Plague and... Oh, yeah, of course you'll spend more. Right, okay.
I'd rather bring all the little relics and toys the Black Templars can now.
Yes. Talking about relics and toys.
Yes.
Black Templars hate psykers.
They do indeed.
So they have chaplains.
Yes.
And they have lots of chaplains. And chaplains have abilities in the Black Templars book, which are similar to Psychers.
Very similar.
They fulfill a similar role, I found.
Yeah, so instead of bringing a librarian with Might of Heroes or something like that, I'll bring along a chaplain with one of the other Black Templar specific ones instead.
So talking about chaplains, he's a Master of Sanctity.
He is indeed.
So he's got 3 things and he can do them on 2s and he can do 2 of them.
Yes.
Because Black Templar, of course, you're going to bring a Master of Sanctity.
Of course.
Now he's got the reroll hits that all the chaplains have.
Litany of hits.
But you've given him 2 new litanies.
I have indeed. So the litanies that I've given him are out of the Black Templar book. Yes. So I have given him the Litany of Divine Protection.
What does that do?
Pick a core unit within 6 inches,
yes.
I think it is, and their 5-up shrug against mortal wounds becomes a flat 5-up shrug.
Really? 5-up feel no pain. See, that's exactly like a spell, because I have miasma of... No, I don't. I used to have it. There's 5-up feel no pain spells out there.
Yes.
And he's got one which is an aura.
Yes.
A thing that he can shove out. Okay. And the other one?
In addition to that, I've also taken the Litany of Fervent Acclamation.
Right.
So, as part of their new rules update, Black Templars don't have anything fancy that they do in the Assault Doctrine anymore.
Right.
So instead of that, they have Templar vows.
Right.
So basically, before we start the game, I will pick a vow.
Have you picked one already?
I think I probably have. I'm still toying up between 2.
Okay.
So I'm sure we'll come on to that in a little bit.
Well, we'll do it in deployment then.
Yes.
Pick a vow in deployment, and then that's a buff that your army gets.
Yeah, so it applies to the entire army as well.
Okay, including the vehicles.
Including the vehicles.
Everyone gets the buff.
Yes.
But he's got a litany called...
Fervent Acclamation.
Which means you can pick another vow as well.
As well.
As well.
In addition.
So you can give your army a buff like +1 to hit, and everyone gets +1 to attack, sorry.
Yes.
And then, as well as that, he can... Okay, cool. I like him. I like him a lot.
The other thing he's got is I paid a CP for another relic.
Right.
And he has the Ancient Breviary, which means that those litanies, although they're going off on 2s already, I roll 2d6 and pick the highest. So I will only fail litanies on Snake Eyes.
Okay.
So I really want those litanies going off.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, right. Done. Good. Right. He's a buffing character.
Yes.
Then we have some Assault Intercessors, some Normal Intercessors, some Eradicators.
Yep.
Sword Brethren?
Sword Brethren. So, Black Templar specific unit. Effectively, it is a 4-man squad of Intercessor Sergeants.
Right.
With special weapons.
So they've got 3... So they die like Space Marines. They've got a 4-up to 3-up. Toughness 4 with 2 wounds, 3-up save.
Yeah.
But they've all got 3 attacks.
Yeah.
And they're basically sergeants.
They're basically all sergeants, yeah.
Nice.
So,
okay.
WYSIWYG there. So, Lightning Claws, Power Axe, Power Sword, Power Maul.
Okay.
Everyone's got bolt pistols.
And a unit of 4.
And only a little baby unit of 4. So,
but you can fit 6 in an Impulsor, right?
I can indeed. Okay. So, in taking a chaplain...
Yes.
What that does is it unlocks a whole raft of mini relics that I can take for points.
Okay.
So in the Sword Brethren squad, for instance,
yes.
the dude with the 2 lightning claws,
yes.
going come at me, bro,
yes.
has also got the Holy Hand Grenade.
Of Antioch.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Because it's too cool not to take on someone.
I like it. So Mortal Wound Hand Grenade.
Yes.
Okay. When you pull the pin, thou must count to 3. Thou must not count to 2 unless thou proceeds to 3. Thou must not count to 4, and 5 is right out. Terminators.
Terminators.
You spent another CP here
as
well.
Indeed. So there is a stratagem in the Black Templar book called Champion of the Feast.
Right.
So that's the Feast of Blades or the Dawn Olympics that all of the Black Templar...
Dawn Olympics.
Dawn Olympics. So all of the Imperial Fist successors and the Imperial Fist meet up every 100 years or so and have a big tournament Olympics sort of thing.
He's really good at the discus.
So he's really good at the discus, although it might, judging by his friends, it might be the hammer.
Okay.
So what that does in practice is I pay 1 CP and a sergeant model, in this case a Terminator sergeant, gets +1 attack, +1 wound, and +1 weapon skill.
So those lightning claws are hitting on 2s.
Yes.
He's a 4 wound Terminator.
Yes.
And let me think, like sergeants have 3 attacks, and then the claws is 5 attacks, shock assault is 6 attacks.
And then I paid 15 points.
7 attacks with the extra attack.
15 points to give him the Bones of Mordred, which is a tiny little relic similar to the Holy Hand Grenade.
Yeah.
And what that does is it gives him +1 attack.
So it's 8 attacks.
Which it doesn't give him +1 attack, sorry. No, it's 7 attacks. What it does is it does 6s to wound, do mortal wounds in addition.
7 attacks with lightning claws hitting on 2s.
Yes.
And you're re-rolling all wounds.
Yes.
And any 6s do more wounds in addition.
In addition.
And he's got 4 wounds.
He's got 4 wounds.
I love it. And what an absolute boss.
He's got 4 bodyguards around him as well.
With hammers and shields.
He's
really good at the discus. Got Redentative Rednor, the Impulsor. The interesting thing about Black Templars is you can get multi-melters on their Impulsors. Yes. I love it, and that's the shield dome.
Yep.
And then here.
Yes.
Here.
The here.
Talk us through this.
So, standing in front of the glorious... not Repulsor. Standing in front of the glorious Land Raider Crusader.
Yeah.
Is a 14-man Crusader squad.
Yeah.
So Space Marines can normally take up to 10 Marines, be that intercessors or tactical Marines in a squad.
Yeah.
Black Templars don't really follow the Codex Astartes that stringently.
No.
So they can take up to 20-man squads.
Yeah,
I didn't have the points, so this is a 14-man squad, which is more than you would normally see anyway.
And they can't go in the Land Raider because they're Primaris.
They're a bit big. They've got the platform shoes on, so they can't go in.
The Terminators could go in it, but they can't go in the Land Raider, which is a shame. But you've got basically Primaris scouts, essentially, mixed in and amongst this big squad here. Because Black Templars, as well as not following the Codex Astartes, when Guilliman said, no, you're going to split up into 1,000-point chapters and 1,000-men, they said, no. We're not doing that. We're going to split up into loads of different crusades, and we're going to... They've been crusading for 10,000 years. There's definitely more than 1,000 Black Templars out there. There's probably tens of thousands or 5,000. There's many thousands of Black Templars out there crusading all over the place. And then they have Crusader squads where they bring their scouts along or their neophytes along into battle with them. So
so as an Ultramarine chapter, your scouts might sit slightly further back and observe the battlefield a little bit more to get a more rounded view as to what's kind of going on and learn that way. Black Templars take the complete opposite approach, and it's, hey, you're in the deep end, learn how to swim.
Learn at the front line, and if you survive, you might become a Space Marine, and if you die, then you're definitely not worthy of becoming a Space Marine. The other thing about Black Templars is they outnumber Ultramarines about 10 to 1. So they've got all the crusading things going on all over the place. There's loads of them. They're very angry, very religious. 5 up, feel no pain, 2 mortal wounds. It's a lovely force. Let's go on to deployment. And so here we are after deployment for the Black Templars. They've spent a CP, plant a spent a CP to put the Eradicators in outflank, strategic reserve, and the Terminators are deep striking in, because you've got the mission specific one, you've got kill my characters, and you've also got Oath of Moment as the secondary. Oath of Moment, for every character or vehicle that you kill, you get a point. If you don't fail morale or fall back, you get a point. And if you have a unit wholly within 6 inches of the centre, which is here, then you get 2 points. So you want to be in the middle, get the mission ones and assassinate me. And I want to engage, be around the outside, get the mission ones and assassinate you. So lots of death, lots of destruction. We have an empty Land Raider on this side, along with some assault intercessors, other intercessors back here. The blob in the middle with all the characters. Yes? Yes. And inside this is what now?
It's the Emperor's Champion and the 4-man Sword Brother squad.
Sword Brethren going this way, because on both flanks, I've got a Rhino with 10 Plague Marines in and a Rhino with 10 Plague Marines in, because I want the mission one and I want to engage. Then down in the middle, I've got the remaining characters, 2 units of 5 Plague Marines, 2 tanks, and I put Gollus, my Lord of Contagion, in reserve as well, to deep strike in at some point, because I want to engage. If he deep strikes in down here, I'm going to get some points. You have deployed further back than you're allowed. You're not right up to the line. Why have you taken a couple of steps back, Plant?
I'm very concerned about a turn 1 charge from Mortarion.
But turn 2 is okay. See, the thing is, you want Oath. Yes. You want the middle.
I do.
So it's going to be quite simple for me just to put Mortarion there and say, come at me, bruh. So the middle could turn into an absolute mosh pit. But you could still get Oaths, because if you're in it, if you're there, you'll get your points for it. Fighting around the outsides, though, for these mission ones and the engage points, that could actually be the thing that tricks the game, that wins the game, not necessarily the middle. Plant, what's your vow?
My vow is accept any challenge, no matter the odds.
What does that do?
So I always count as though I'm in the assault doctrine when I'm in engagement range.
Yes.
So I'm always getting that -1 AP.
Yes.
I always have +1 attack, so effectively Shock Assault is always active for me as well. The downside is I can't fall back.
Well, you don't want to fall back because of Oath.
Exactly.
Yes.
There's a combo there.
Except the what, no matter the what?
Except any challenge.
Except any challenge.
No matter the odds.
No matter the Mortarian. Right, let's roll off to see who's got first turn. Death Guard green today. Good luck. You rolled a 2. I've rolled a 6. It's Death Guard turn 1. Here we are after Death Guard movement and command and psychic phase, in fact. I managed to get 2 good advance rolls on the Rhino on this side and the Rhino on that side. Both of them have got 10 Plague Marines in. What this means is I'm engaging in all 4 quarters right now for my 3 points for the engage. And if they die, then I can spill out an objective secured unit onto that objective. And I'm also claiming that objective there. So good ball control straight away in turn 1, pushing forward. Turns out this Plague Burst Crawler will not be in range of the Land Raider, but I might be able to thread the needle down to that Redemptor Dreadnought there. The entropy cannons are 36-inch range. The mortar is 40. The other one can shoot through into the trees, into the Land Raider Crusader or the Redemptor Dreadnought, have decisions to make. Then in the psychic phase, I put Miasma of Pestilence on Mortarion, so he's now -1 to hit, which you try to abhor the Witch.
I did.
Which is a stratagem. It's a 4+, you can deny psychic power.
Yep.
And you rolled a 3. So he's got -1 to hit. The other power he tried failed. And then there was a smite coming out and Gift of Contagion from Mortarion. And I rolled a 9 on Gift of Contagion. And given these lovely Black Templars a lovely Nurgle's Gift, they've got -1 strength and -1 attack until my next psychic phase. And they took a mortal wound, which the apothecary is going to heal. So yeah, -1 strength, -1 attack on them. Mortarion is now -2 to hit. Taking on some board control. Now I need to shoot. And the only things that can shoot, because there was lots of advancing down here, are the 2 Plague Burst Crawlers. So I need to start at the Land Raider because it's got 18 wounds. Let's start and try and chip it away. Spending a CP on Disgusting Force to get the mortar up to 3 damage. But how many shots does it have? It has 6 shots. Beautiful. I am firing through the trees though, so it's -1 to hit the Land Raider on 4s, and I hit once. Strength 8 versus Toughness 8. I reroll once to wound. It's a plague weapon. I don't wound you. 2 entropy cannons on 4s. They both hit as well. Now can these wound, please, Papa Nurgle? On 1s, not what am I talking about? On 4s they wound. Strength 8, Toughness 8. But 1s I can reroll because it's a plague weapon. And I get a wound through an AP -4, so a 6-up save.
5-up save.
AP -4?
Oh, 4, sorry.
Yeah.
3, my bad.
They're nasty. And you make it! You boss it! Right, let's do the little stubbers as well. Stubbers did nothing. So Plague Burst Crawler raining fire down from the sky all over this thing here and didn't even injure it. Disgusting Force will do a mortal wound to them. On a 4, it does a mortal wound, which you don't shrug. So the second Plague Burst mortar, because the mortar is the only thing in range of the tank, I'm not going to fire at the tank. It can see and has line of sight with all of its guns onto the Redemptor. So I'm going to fire at the Redemptor. If I can't blow open a tank, maybe I can kill a Dreadnought. Let's start off with a mortar, number of shots for 2 this time. And both of them hit. Strength 8, Toughness 7. 1 wound at -2 on the Dreadnought. And you make the save. Entropy cannons to the face. 1 of them hits. 1 of them wounds. No save. This is D3 plus 3 damage. For 6 damage, which becomes 5 damage because that's what Dreadnoughts do. Then the Slugger Stubber came in and caused no further damage, and that is the end of Death Guard. Turn 1, I've injured a Redemptor Dreadnought. But, more importantly, I will get 3 points for engage, and I am covering 3 of the primary mission objectives. And remember, in my command phase, I've taken the mission-specific one. If I hold that at the end, at the start of my command phase, I'll get another 2 points as well. So not much damage, but taking board control. The Black Templars now need to stride forward into this living plague, into this hive of death, and take the fight to the Death Guard. Here we are in the Black Templars command phase. You roll 2d6 for this guy, and so long as you don't get snake eyes, he gets his litanies off.
Exactly.
And you've just done 2 litanies on this big 14-man squad here. Tell the people what you've done.
Lovely. So I've done Divine Protection.
Yes.
To give them a 5-up, feel no pain.
Okay.
And then I've also done Fervent Acclamation.
Yes.
And I've selected Uphold the Honour of the Emperor. So not only do they have a 5-up, feel no pain from the first litany, they also have a 5-up invulnerable save and a mini transhuman.
Wow. Okay. I like it. So that's why you're bringing this guy along.
Yes.
Here we are after the Black Templars movement phase. A couple of clever things have happened here. One, you can disembark from an impulsor after it's moved. And look what's happened here. The Sword Brethren, get out 3, move 6, have wrapped my Rhino. No one's within an inch. You're now outnumbering me on that objective. And if I move my Rhino, I can't move it within an inch of an enemy model. The Rhino's trapped. And also, to get a unit of 5 out, you disembark them, then you move them. I can't get a whole unit there or a whole unit there. There's 10 guys suddenly entrapped inside that Rhino. Very close to Mortarion, by the way. But suddenly stopping me scoring that objective.
It's a brave move.
It's a brave move, Cotton. Let's see how it pays out. I could emergency disembark them in my turn for a CP, but on 1s and 2s they'll die. And then you've left the impulsors, the Emperor's Champion inside the impulsor, ready to jump on anything that dares to try and break out of the Rhino. So stealing that objective off me off there is quite nice. On the other side, the Land Raider trudging forward, and I believe the intention is to charge with these Black Templars to try and do a similar thing over here. And remember, Black Templars reroll charges?
Reroll charges.
Reroll charges. And then all of a sudden, I'll go from 3 objectives down to 1, and their objective secured. Then in the middle, the big squad advanced forward, but not as far as you could have rolled for him. No. You could have pushed them again a couple more inches forward. The apothecary healed the injured one in the squad, and the second unit of intercessors have stepped round to guard that objective there. Everyone's within aura range of the apothecary in case someone gets taken out. The Redemptor didn't have enough movement to step over the wall this turn. So the Templars move forward to engage the Death Guard. So we're starting off the shooting phase with the Redemptor Dreadnought. It's doing the missiles and the plasma, which is overcooking into Mortarion there. And it's got Stormbolters and the Gatling gun in its fist. You can fire through that doorway. This bit isn't more than 5 inches long, so it can see down and fire its anti-infantry guns into the Death Guard. What are we starting with first, sir?
Might as well start with the plasma.
Start with plasma, D6 shots. For 3 shots. Can you boy?
No, I'll take it.
Forced to hit, though, because of minuses to hit. And you hit once.
Reroll 1s for the captain.
Yes. And you hit twice. And then strength 9, toughness 8.
3 to wound.
And they both wound. I need 4 up invulnerable saves. And I make 1 fail 1. And it does 3 damage, which becomes 2 damage with Disgustingly Resilient. And then Mortarion has a shrug. And he shrugs them both like a boss. Then the missile on his back has 3 shots. This will hit on
4s.
Reroll 1s.
Reroll 1s for the captain.
Okay, so 2 hits, strength 7, toughness 8, wound on 5s. And they both wound as well.
-2.
And I fail one of those saves. It's normally 2 damage, right?
Yep.
Which becomes 1 damage, which I shrug, which I don't shrug. Mortarion takes a wound. He's down to 17 wounds left. If it bleeds, we can kill him. Stormbolters into the Death Guard. Rerolling 1s. 3 of them hit, and you'll wound on 5s. And one of them wounds, I have a 3-up save, which I make. And then there's the Gatling gun in its fist, which has 8 shots, hits on 3s and reroll 1s. 6 hits on the reroll, and strength 5 versus toughness 5, so forced to wound. And this is interesting, it's AP -2 right now, because it is heavy. So I need 5-up saves. And one of the Plague Marines survives, one of them does get evaporated. So the Redemptor kills a Plague Marine and injures Mortarion. Then the Chaplain managed to fire out, and a random wound came through, took another wound off Mortarion. And then you said, oh, at the end of the movement phase,
Holy Hand Grenade.
Holy Hand Grenade over here. Should have been thrown at the Rhino. So we'll do that now.
2 up, D3 mortal wounds.
Okay. So it does 1 mortal wound to the Rhino. It's on 9 wounds left. Let's continue with the shooting phase. After the Holy Hand Grenade was thrown into the Rhino, Stormbolters from the Impulsor took another wound off the Rhino. The Multi-Melter, however, is coming into Mortarion. 2 shots, hitting on 4s, and they both miss. Come on, boy.
Nah.
Now we're moving down to the Horde in the middle. There's 2 Pyre Blasters there. That's the Pimped Flamers, extra range, extra AP, which are coming out into Mortarion. All the shots hit Mortarion, but 2d6 auto hits with the flamers for 11. Extra range and AP, but still strength 4, so you need 6s to wound. And that's 2 wounds. AP -1, so I fail a save. Can I shrug it? You take another wound off Mortarion. He's down to 3. He's lost 3 wounds and he's on fire, so you've just made him really, really angry. And then we've got the assault weapons, which can also fire in. These will hit on 4s. And re-roll 1s because there's a captain nearby, which is good because you just rolled a chunk of wounds. These wound on 6s as well. But they're AP dash, right?
Yes.
So you get 3-up save, which I fail, and a shrug, which I fail. Okay, so it's death by 1,000 cuts on Mortarion right now. He's on 14 wounds left. Now we have the rapid firing intercessor, so more death by 1,000 cuts, 3s to hit, 4s to hit, sorry, because of my asthma, and 4s to wound. 6s to wound, what am I talking about? Strength 4, toughness 8, 6s to wound, -1. He fails a save. He fails the shrug. It's all the mass reactive rounds and all the flame. That's what's going to get him. Down to 13 wounds remaining. So a Plague Marine dead. Over here, a wound came off the Rhino from this squad. But over on this flank, the last thing left to fire is the Land Raider Crusader. So last thing left to fire, what you're thinking with the Land Raider?
So looking at what I've got option-wise here, I think this is going to be my best opportunity to deal with Mortarion. So I think everything from the Land Raider has got to go into Mortarion.
Just takes as many wounds off as you can.
Yeah.
You also said off camera that you don't really want to blow up the Rhino because you don't want me to put my units out here. You want it still to be there so you can charge it and try and get onto that objective.
Yeah, so the idea is the intercessors probably won't kill the Rhino.
Yeah.
Which means that the Plague Marine, the OPSEC Plague Marines inside then can't disembark and contest the objective in your command phase.
Yeah. You want to try and contest that one. Okay, so everything from the Land Raider into Mortarion, what could possibly go wrong? What are we starting off with?
Melter.
Multi-misses, hitting on 4s. And this time they both hit. 4s to wound. And they both wound. Look at that boxcar. Can I make a 4-up and vulnerable save? I can if I CP one. So 1 gets through for D6 damage on Mortarion. Do you want a command point reroll that?
No.
You want to stick with 5?
I would like the 5, please.
Which becomes 4 because of disgustingly resilient. Can I shrug any? I can only shrug 1. He's down to 10 wounds? Yeah, 10 wounds. Now we've got 12 shots with the twin assault cannon. On 4s. And 5s. And wow, that's 4 wounds. That's pretty good. And -2 right now. 4-up and vuns. And then shrug. And that's another wound chipped off of him. And then the Hurricane Bolters. Only 4 hits, 6s to wound. And none of them wound. But you have chipped him all the way down to 9 of his 18 wounds. You've bracketed him at the end of the shooting phase for the Black Templars. Now we have some charges. Well, are they going to charge or are they just going to stay around the edge of the
Rhino?
Yeah.
They can't charge because they advance.
Oh, yes. Yes, because they got out of the impulsor. You can get out of the impulsor with moves, but you can't charge.
Yes.
You can shoot. But these fellas definitely want to charge this Rhino here. So good luck, and you can re-roll this. That's a 7, and that's enough to engage the Rhino. It would have been -2 if they'd have tried to go through the trees. But at the start of the fight phase, when you pile in, trees don't slow you down. You pile in, and you're in range of the objective. It's taking that one off of me, just like you took that one off of me. And now, the Black Templars, they have a bajillion attacks. Okay, so 2 attacks base, 1 extra attack for being a Black Templar, 1 extra attack for a chainsword, and 1 extra attack on the side. 21 attacks. Hitting on 3s. And remember, the Assault Doctrine counts as though it's in effect because of the vow. Strength 4, these are wound on 5s. AP -2. Dude, that's 10 wounds. You said you didn't want to kill it, because then I can outnumber you on that. If I fail all of these saves, please. 5-up saves. Damn it, I made some. And that's the end of the fight phase. Plan isn't consolidating any further, because he's now -his to hit, because he's in the trees. And he can't fall back from me with your vow. Correct. You're not allowed to fall back.
Not allowed to fall back.
So I can stay there and lock you up with a Rhino.
Yeah.
Or I can pull back, but then if I do, I'm shooting you through trees.
Obviously, I'm not losing shock assault though, because I get it because I get the vow instead.
You
so
get the vow
always
instead.
21 attacks.
So that is the end of Black Templars turn 1. They get 1 point for not failing morale falling back, and I had 3. But more importantly, they're now on 3 of the 4 objectives. I won't control this one at the start of my turn, and I won't control that one at the start of my turn. We both need the mission ones. So a good reply from the Black Templars, but now Mortarion is in striking distance. He may only have 9 wounds remaining, but he is a Demon Primarch. Let's go on to Death Guard, turn 2. Here we are after the Death Guard's movement phase. I didn't get my mission-specific ones here or here because I didn't control them in my command phase, and I didn't control them at the start of my turn either. So I'm on 8 points to the Black Templars 2. What's going on here is 10 guys got outside of that rhino and it fell back. The idea is I charge this unit of intercessors, wipe them out entirely, hold on to this objective, and also engage over here. Meanwhile, Mortarion did not jump forward to take on the squad with a 5-up invulnerable save and a 5-up shrug, and don't need to go that way. What I do need is my mission objectives. I've left the guys inside the rhino for now, because Mortarion should be able to swap up those 4 sword brethren when he's told himself to re-roll all hits. And then down in the middle, some shuffling around. I've left my Terminator in Deep Strike Reserve, my Lord of Contagion, to drop in later on, because I'm aware that there are some Eradicators in Strategic Reserve. There are some Terminators in Deep Strike right now, and there's gaps all over the place for those Terminators to come down in, so I don't want them on the battle grid just yet. I need these mission-specific ones. Need to push back, and if I manage to push back on these flanks, these guys are probably too far away from charging anyone in turn 2 as well. Maybe. We shall see. So let's do some psychic powers. Let's put Miasma of Pestilence on Mortarion one more time. And that passes. Would you like to deny the witch thing again? Your special stratagem, 1 CP on a 4-up, you deny it?
Yes, I will.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. And you don't deny it. The other thing I'm going to do is put Putrescent Vitality on the unit of guys that are not in cover. And that passes. So they're toughness 6 now. I can't put that on Mortarion. And then Mortarion will do a couple of spells. His 3 spells are Gift of Contagion, Smite, and Curse of the Leper. So I'm going to start off with a nice cheeky Smite, which fails. And then I'm going to do Curse of the Leper, which passes. Then I roll 7 dice, and for every dice roll that exceeds your toughness, I do a mortal wound. Your toughness is now 3 because of contagion. So 4s do mortal wounds, and that's 3 mortal wounds to those sword brethren, which they shrug on 5s. Oh, and 1 gets a slight headache, but doesn't die. That is the end of my psychic phase. Now let's pull the trigger. Right, I'm spending a CP on Overwhelming Generosity, which increases the range of plague weapons by 6 inches, because his spurty thing is now 18-inch range, and I measured to make sure I was in range of the Dreadnought. So the Viscous Death spurts out and automatically hits you 3 times. I could re-roll that, but I know what my luck's like. Hit Strength 8, and I wound you 3 times, and it's -3 2 damage. So 6s. But those 2 damage become 1 damage because you're a Dreadnought. But it already took some wounds. So it's down to 5 left. That's a nice start. Now, these guys had to advance to get up here because Plague Marines are slow. But the Blight Launcher is an assault weapon, so the only thing it's really going to fire at is the big swarm, which will hit on 4s and wound on not that. So now we come down to the Death Guard. Now I could shoot this way into some of these guys, but they've got a 2-up save right now. So what I'm going to do really is put every single bolt gun I can into them. Some of these are firing through trees. These aren't firing through the trees. But if I mix them all together, I've got 2 guys firing through trees, so they're hitting on 4s, and then I'll add up all the other shots from both squads, which is 12 shots with rapid fire, because some of them have close combat weapons, and these ones are hitting on 3s. And then I'm wounding you on 3s, because you are toughness 3 right now, because of contagion range. But no AP. 8 3-up saves.
Go wrong.
And one of them was injured already, so he dies. And 2 and a bit. Leaving 3 remaining, nicely softened up for the charge. We're going to come across to this squad. They might as well fire at the Dreadnought. You fired at me, I shall fire at you. I'm hitting on 3s. I'm wounding on 5s. Death Guard always firing Bolter Discipline maximum range all the time. So 2 more threat saves on the Dread. He's fine. Mortarion has a pistol. Let's fire at the Sword Brethren. And he hits. He'll wound on a 2. And you need a 6-up save or 1 gets evaporated. 1 gets evaporated. He shines the lantern on the Sword Brethren and 1 gets doomed. See, it's a line effect. I could have pointed at the Impulsor, but the rules as written say you hit the Impulsor and then you hit everything in the line. It doesn't say enemy units, it just says units under the line, so it would have hit my Rhino as well. So he shined it in their general direction, but not towards the Impulsor. Okay, so the Dreadnought's a bit injured. The Land Raid is absolutely fine. I've got 2 tanks. I think it'd be rude not to fire one of these tanks, everything at the Dreadnought, right? Yeah, let's do that. So tank number 1, everything at Dreadnought. Here's the mortar. Do I spend the CP on, because he reduces all damage by 1, and the mortar's 2 damage. If I spend the CP, I get it 3 damage. It goes back there. Yes, I'll spend a CP on Blight Bombardment, and here's the mortar for 2 shots. I'll spend another CP for more shots. For 2 shots, that didn't work. But I can hit the Dreadnought on 3s. No, I can't. I can only hit it once. I wound it on a 3. I wound you at -2 on the Dread. 3 damage. Which becomes 2 damage. It's on 3 wounds remaining. Entropy cannons. Both hit. Look at that. 6/6. Dark light shines across the sarcophagus of the Dreadnought and injures it once, which you don't get a save. And it's D3 plus 3. And it's on 3 wounds remaining. So even if I rolled a 1, the Redemptor is gone. And it doesn't blow up. It just crumples under the power of the dark light. The sarcophagus ejects to be recovered if the Black Templars win this day. So tank number 2. Well, I think I'm putting the entropy cannons and mortar into that. And I'm thinking, no, entropy cannons and stubbers into that. And I'm thinking of backdropping the mortar on that objective, these guys on this objective, because you want to come forward. The last thing you want to do is, I'm going to rain fire on them. Okay? Here's the mortar shells. 4 times, but I am hitting you on 4s because you're in trees. And I hit you 3 times. I wound on 2s and reroll 1s because it's a plague weapon. And they're AP -2, 2 damage. 3 5-up saves on those intercessors. 2 of them go kaboom, leaving only 3 left back on that object. A couple of turns of that. Oh, you got the apothecary. You got the apothecary. So 2 and 2.
2 and 2.
So 6s. Oh, 1's not dead. Okay, so I only killed 1. But I've started. You don't want to stay back there. Well, you don't want to leave a unit back there. Okay, so last thing left to fire. Dark light into the Land Raider. Let's do the stoppers first this time. You're smoking screening. You're screening the smoke. Okay. And I don't wound. Yeah, because now I can draw a line which doesn't hit the trees. Yeah. So 4s to hit after popping smoke. They both hit. 4s to wound. Ready for this?
I'm terrified.
They both wound. 6-up saves. And you make 1 again. But this does do D3 plus 3 damage. For 5 damage. It's on 11 wounds left. That's the end of my shooting phase. Now both of these units will charge. And the Death Guard charge the intercessors. And meanwhile, over on the other flank, Mortarian charges the Sword Brethren. Now, I'm not going to start there, because Mortarian can take it. And these guys still have a crazy number of attacks. And an AP -2. So I need to start here. And one of these squads has got a flail in it. That squad, that's got a flail in it. They'll pile in and fight first. So I pile in. One of these fellas has got 2 blades, no guns. And one of them is the sergeant. I'm going to start with the plague knives first, because one is on 1 wound. I'm hitting you on 3s. All of them hit, look. And I'm wounding you on 3s because of contagion. And they're all AP -1. 7 4-up saves on the Black Templars. So there's 1 left on 1 wound, and then the flail strikes and wounds on 3s and rerolls 1s, and they're -2. and the squad gets wiped out. Then I consolidate closer towards the closest enemy unit. Would you like to pay to interrupt now?
Yes, I would.
You are?
Yes.
The Sword Brethren are going to step it up and try and take on Mortarion.
Might as well.
A mixed unit here, so we're starting with the Lightning Claws because of Miasma of Pestilence. Hitting on 4s, and that is 4 hits. And it's strength 4 versus toughness 8. So winning on 6s.
No rerolls there.
But no rerolls because Morty turns that stuff off. 1 wound comes through, and I fail to save. Shrug it. And I shrug it. So he's still on 9 wounds remaining. Now we have the axes and the swords, which are going to do together because they're going to hit and wound on the same profile. 4s to hit. Again, good hitting. 5s to wound.
This is the hard part.
This is the hard part. 2 wounds. I make the saves. Mortarion is fine. So they step forward and try to bring the demon Primarch down, but cause no wounds. And now he lifts Silence, the Reaping Scythe. I've got 6 attacks right now. I'm hitting on 2s and re-rolling 1s because he told himself to re-roll. And I'm strength 16. I'm wounding on 2s and re-rolling 1s. It's a plague weapon. 6 wounds come through, AP -4, D3 +3 every time. They're gone. How much damage would have that done? That would have been 28 damage. Anyway, they're definitely wiped out. And the Lord of Decay and Destruction doesn't need to take a step forward. He will stand there, taunting the Black Templars, daring them to come forward. And then I come across to this squad which charged, so they may be selected to fight. And I'm going to pile in to the closest enemy unit. I can't fight that enemy unit because I didn't select them as a target of a charge. The Land Raider can fight back though, and it revs its engines. It's got 6 attacks because it's a big chonky thing, and it hits on 6s and wounds on 3s because I'm a plague. Doesn't wound. And the reason why I've done that is because your vow gives you +1 attack everywhere, but you cannot fall back. Right?
There's +1 attack.
Oh yeah, get another one. You get an extra one. Yeah. Yay! Freeze? No. Okay. So that can't fall back.
Yes.
But so it has to shoot its way out of that.
Yes.
That sounds... I think I did quite good there. So you did some tricky things around here and tricky things wrapping me around here. And now, I mean, yes, you've got a lot of guns and can make your way through them. But how long will it take you to make your way through a unit of 5 Plague Marines? That is the question we're about to find out. Then at the end of my turn... assassinate, no points. Mission 1, no points. Engage, I am engaging here, and in the quarters. There in that quarter, there in that quarter. So I am getting the 3 points for engage again. But stopping you scoring the primaries again. This might be a game of each of us stopping the next one do something. So at the end of my turn, I'm on 13 points. But now the death of the Black Templar, but now the Black Templars can respond. Remember, they've got Terminators and Eradicators to play with. Here we are after the Black Templars movement phase. They got 5 points on the primary, making it 11 points to 6 in favour of the Death Guard. Of course, the Land Raider is not moving anywhere. It can't. It will have to fire at the Plague Marines. The Chaplain buffed this unit again, giving them a 5-up invulnerable save and a 5-up feel no pain, before telling them to get out of the way and zipping all the way up there. And he's wholly within 6 inches of the centre for Oath. So you don't fail morale or fall back, that's a point. 2 points for Oath. Kill a character, vehicle or monster, get another point. And all eyes are now on Mortarion. The Emperor's Champion has stepped out of the Impulsor and has come round this way to deal with him if the Eradicators fail. It's 24 inches from my... can't deploy in the deployment zone when you come out of Strategic Reserve in turn 2. So that's just on the edge. And we have Melter Shots coming into Mortarion. If it doesn't go down, the Emperor Champion potentially has got this. And then the big swarm behind could potentially also charge in. Remember, there's still 10 Plague Marines sat snugly inside that Rhino there. But lots of pressure to take this objective off the Death Guard, because this objective on the other flank looks lost for now. However, the Apothecary advanced forward and the Terminators have teleported in, and that would be a 9-inch charge to engage at least one of those units of Plague Marines over there. So the Black Templars move to the middle of the battle grid and are prepared to unleash their righteous anger against the treacherous Death Guard. let's go on to the shooting phase. So we're starting with the Eradicators, because they're only firing at Mortarion. 6 dice, hitting on 4s, because of Miasma of Pestilence. Good luck. And that is 2 hits.
CP reroll.
Command point?
Command point.
3 hits. 3 hits, okay. Strength 8 versus Toughness 8. Force to wound. 3 wounds. That's good. That's really good. I'm in melt range as well.
You are.
Command point? No. Okay, so 2d6 damage goes through. And that becomes 5 and 5, which becomes 4 and 4, which is 8. He's got 9 wounds left. How many can he shrug? Of these 8 wounds?
Is he disgusting and resilient?
He shrugs 3 of them.
Okay.
So he takes 5 wounds. He's got 4 wounds left. But there's a multi-melter on the Impulsor. And the Stormbolters.
And the Stormbolters.
Everything into him.
Bring down the beast.
Okay. Multi-melters.
Multi-melters.
Force to hit. 1 hit. Force to wound. Please don't wound. Thank you. You have got 8 Stormbolter shots though. And these will hit on 4s. And wound on 6s. And they're AP -1 right now because of the Tactical Doctrine. So these are 4-up saves. Death by 1,000 cuts. And a shrug. He's on 3 wounds left. 3 wounds left, that's fine. Surely the Empress Champion's got this.
Crack grenade.
Crack grenade from here.
From Empress Champion.
Empress Champion. Grenade! Misses. He's too busy fumbling in his pockets to try and find the grenade because he's already got his sword in his hand. So the Chaplain with the twin bolt rifle on his bike. 4s. Nothing. So the Intercessors now. 4 Intercessors. They stood still.
Yeah.
So they got Bolted Discipline.
4s again.
4s again. 6s. These are AP -2. 4 up. I can't make a save for a Stormbolter for the life of me. But I can't even make a shrug. He's on 2 wounds left. Surely that's softened enough for the Empress Champion. He wants his head. Are you going to shoot him with this big swarm and take away the glory from the Empress Champion? Or are you going to shoot the swarm at the Plague Marines in cover? Plague Marines in cover, by the way, are always a problem. What are you thinking?
I think Mortarion needs to go.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, it's the Empress Champion.
It is the Empress Champion.
He's strength 9, right, with his thing on the charge.
He is strength 9. He could kill him with mortal wounds.
Mortal wounds, he does mortal wounds, yeah.
But he only does 1 mortal wound is the problem.
Oh.
So.
But he's only got 2 wounds left. He's bleeding, he's injured, he's on his knees.
-1 for the bolt rifles. So let's put the 2 flamers into Mortarion.
You can set them on fire again.
I'm going to set them on fire.
Right.
And then all the bolt rifles and so flamers and pistols.
Yes.
Into Mortarion.
Yes.
Bolt rifles into the Plague Marines.
Okay.
Up on the top.
Okay. Bolt pistols. 2 hits. Reroll the 1s. No, you don't reroll the 1 actually because you're in range of Morty.
Wouldn't matter.
Yeah, wouldn't have mattered anyway.
So
6s?
6s.
Nothing. 2d6 auto hitting flamers. 9. That's good. 9. 6s. 3 6s. Is he going to die to fire? 4s. I failed twice. 5 up, feel no pains. He's got 2 wounds left. He's alive on 1 wound remaining. Then all the bolt shells come in to the Plague Marines on 3s, but not re-rolling. And 5s to wound. And these are AP -1 because of the Doctrine, but I have +1 save because of the Ruin, so 3s. You do kill 1 Plague Marine. And then we did the most important thing, which was turn Mortarion around to face his prey. And the last thing now left to fire is the Land Raider, which has to fire everything at the Plague Marines, grubbing at its heels. Multi-melter's on 4s because it's heavy and in combat. 1 of them hits, wounds on a 3, and it wounds. I don't get a save. It's minimum 3 damage. That kills 1 of them. Assault cannons on 4s because they're heavy, and 3s to wound. It's 2 more wounds, 4-up saves. You kill another one, 2 of them are dead, and then 24 shots with the Hurricane Bolters.
This is why you bring it.
And these are 3s because these aren't heavy weapons. So. 5s to wound though. That's a few wounds. That one's really cocked. 6 4-up saves, and that's another 1 dead. So 3.5 Plague Marines wiped out. And it looks like this, and that's the end of the shooting phase, killing a chunk of Plague Marines around this side, whittling Mortarion all the way down to 1 wound, killing a Plague Marine here. Now we're going to charge. Who's going to take the charge?
Champion.
I might as well overwatch you. I'm re-rolling the hit right now. It's 1 shot with Lantern. I feel like he would. Mortarion definitely would. And I get the re-roll. He doesn't hit you. And the champion will automatically be in. Then after he comes charging in on a 5-up, he does mortal wound on the charge because of...
the Paragon of Fury Warlord trait.
That's the one, okay. He doesn't do a mortal wound. That was a 1. We have a 9-inch charge from the Terminators here into this unit of Plague Marines to try and steal this objective off of me. And that's a 6. Command point?
Don't need to.
No? Oh yeah, because you're Black Templars, you reroll charges, yeah. 10! The first company make the charge. Terminators engage unit number 2. Now we're coming across to the big buff swarm. They're charging Mortarion as well. And they get a 10. And the Crusader squad make the charge. Neophytes staying in order range of the captain back there. Multiple charges from the Black Templars across the line. They're in their Black Templar happy place. Which charge would you like to resolve first? Bear in mind I've got like 6 CPs and I can interrupt.
Emperor's Champion.
Emperor's Champion. So the Emperor's Champion's got 6 attacks. He's got 2 types of swings. One of them is minuses to hit, but I'm already minuses to hit. Now typically he rerolls all hits and all wounds against characters.
Correct.
Mortarion turns that off. So just 3s to hit me with the thrusting strike. And you only hit 3 times. But you are strength 9.
I am strength 9.
So 3s to wound. You wound twice. I can see you thinking.
Command point.
Command point. He wounds 3 times. 4-up invulnerable saves or death for Mortarion. Demon Primarch of the Death Guard. He fails every single save. There's no point in command point in any of them. That's 3 damage weapon, right?
Yes.
Which becomes a 2 damage weapon. So if I make like 6 5s and 6s, he'll be okay. He's... Look at that. That's so close. And he does blow up. I think it's on a 4 as well. Putrid Explosion. Everything within... That's not Nurgle. Within 3 inches suffers D3 mortal wounds. So the Emperor's Champion suffers 1, which he shrugs on a 5. And the Neophyte squad, the big squad, suffers 1, which they can shrug on a 5. No. So he does a mortal wound each as he falls. So the Emperor's Champion sends the Demon Primarch back to the warp, then consolidates into the Rhino to stop it moving around and things. Then I'm going to spend 2 CP to interrupt, and another CP on Creeping Blight, and attack with these Plague Marines down here into the Terminators. Otherwise, these Plague Marines might not be here. And I'm going to spend another CP on Transit Fighters. So 4 CP on this squad. What that means is I've got a bajillion attacks with Plague Knives, which hit on 3s. And now I need all those 6s to wound, because 6s to wound count as AP -4, because you've got Storm Shields and things. So I wound you on 3s because of contagion, and I only do 1 at -4. These are all -1, but you've shields, so you still have 2-up saves against them.
So that's what, 5?
5 2-up saves, and then a 4-up save.
So the 2-up saves. 1 takes a wound.
And then a
4-up save.
Damn it. Okay, so 1 is injured. And then the flail strikes you on 3s and hits you 4 times. And will wound you, drop dice on 3s. Re-rolling 1s, that was a 3. Yeah. Okay, so that was a 3. So that is... They're -2.
So that's a
3-up saves.
So 3-up saves.
I kill 1, and then
dead.
1 4-up save.
1 4-up save. No.
Okay, 1's dead. 1's on a wound. It could have been better. And then the Terminators pile in and strike back. The champion of the feast, the hero sergeant, is going to go first with his bajillion attacks. He hits on 2s.
He does.
Because you upgraded him. That's nice. And he's going to wound on 5s.
6 is a mortal wounds in addition.
Nice.
And he rerolls all wounds.
Yeah, it's claws. That's 1 wound so far. Ooh, okay. So it's an addition.
In addition.
So I've got to make 3 5-up saves. I make them. And then that'll be 3 wounds in total.
It's actually 6-up saves because they always count as in the Assault Doctrine.
Does he?
Yes.
Okay, so I didn't make any of those saves. So in total, that was 5 wounds that come through, killing 2.5 of my guys. And then the hammers strike. And you hit on 4s with your thunder hammers. Only 2 hits. You're wounding on 3s, at AP -3 because of the assault doctrine. So I need a 6. I don't make the 6. There's still 2 guys left. And that's big. Maybe spending those 4 CP on trying to kill some Terminators actually work there because I've got OBSEC on that objective. And then you select another unit that could complete a charge, which was the big swarm.
Yeah.
And they can pile in 3 and consolidate 3. And they've come across here onto that objective. And they're OBSEC, so you've definitely got that objective there. So that's all the charging models done. And now it's my turn to hit your Land Raider. And I'll hit it on 3s. And normally it would be 6s, but it's 5s because you're toughness 7. So they wound you. AP -1, 3-up save. You make the save. And then the Land Raider, interestingly enough, has got 7 attacks back. And 1's on 1 wound. Because of the +1 attack, because Black Templars. 6s. As it revs its engines, it runs over 2 of them. Can it squish it into the mud on 3s? 3-up saves? Yes, he can. There's 1 dude left on 1 wound who's there and I'm more than an inch away. Would you like to pile into him?
No.
Because he's the Blight Launcher guy. I need the Blight Launcher alive. Sorry, it looks like this. Right, so I've got morale on these guys. There's the hero guy. I lost 3. I don't want to roll a 6. I rolled a 6. And then if I roll a 1, the other one will flee. Okay, so that happened. They're gone. And then this guy on a 5. He's gone. Right, okay. So maybe I should have spent some CP there. That flank has collapsed. This flank has collapsed as we go on to Death Guard turn 3. So here we are after the Death Guard movement phase. I only got 5 points for the primary, making it 16 points to 14 in favour of the Death Guard. I'm winning only by 2 points because last turn you maxed out your oath. Ooh. And you got 4 points for killing Mortarion, 3 for assassinate, plus an extra 1 because he's the warlord. So 16-14. The Death Guard are only 2 points in the lead, and it's only turn 3, a low point scoring game. And round here, there's trouble. So the punchy unit gets out and assaults and kills the Emperor's Champion. And then I should hopefully outnumber you with models on that objective because they've got objective secured. They haven't got objective secured. Mind you, then there's piling in and things like that. But they can also go in, the ones that were up here. And then the second squad charge the Eradicators and tie them up so you don't kill my tanks. That's the plan on this side. Yes, that sounds like a plan. The Malignant Plaguecaster are taking a couple of steps back. And also I've lined him up. So the closest thing in line of sight and range for his smite is the Emperor's Champion. Soften him up with a mind bullet first. Then over on the right flank, which collapsed due to morale when the first company of the Black Templars charged the Death Guard, I've advanced. And the idea is put, so I can't charge after this, but I am within range of that objective and I am objective secured. So I have stopped you taking this one for the mission one, because we both need the mission one. The idea is put both of the tanks into the Terminators, because I can't charge, get rid of them, hold on to that objective. And in the backfield, Golos, my Lord of Virulence, has dropped in. And that would be a 9-inch charge into the Intercessors, holding the backfield objective. So it's a low point scoring game, only 2 points in it. Losing Mortarion is a grievous blow. And also losing the 10 Plague Marines that were on this flank here. Didn't expect that to happen. But I'm spreading out. I am engaging on all fronts again. And now I mean to make the Black Templars bleed. So we're going to start off by putting Miasma of Pestilence on this unit right in front of me here. And that fails. That's okay. I didn't really want it anyway, but I do want the smite. And that passes. Would you like to try and deny? You've got 1 CP left.
No.
So this is D3 mortal wounds on the Emperor's Champion for 1, which he shrugs on a 5. He doesn't shrug. So he's down to 3 wounds remaining. I can't shoot him with that squad that stood right in front. But I can, I can shoot him with the Rhino. So we're going to do that. And it hits twice. And it wounds once. Does he have a 2-up save or a 3-up save?
2-up save.
He has a 2-up save. So he's okay. Now the squad that got out are going to pour everything into... Let's start shooting them, I think. Then I fired in with this squad and this squad here, and I killed a scout because you have your 5 up invulnerable save, 5 up feel no pain.
Yes.
So I killed one. Right. Then this squad could also fire in as well. This one's got a blight launcher. Yeah, I'll fire in with this squad as well and try and whittle you away. So here's the bolt guns hitting on 3s. And wounding on 3s for 3 wounds. So you keep putting them on scouts, or are you going to put them on power armor dudes? There is a blight launcher in this squad as well.
We'll carry on with the scouts.
Okay.
3 was it?
Yes. 4s are up saves. You failed them when I took the camera on that. And then 5 up shrugs.
5 up shrugs.
I kill a scout and put another dude down to 1 wound, and the blight launcher hits twice and wounds twice. They're -2.
So 5 up invulnerable saves because of the extra vow from the chaplain.
Yes. You make 1.
Fail 1, and then
2 damage.
2 damage. So on the last scout, he does die.
So all 3 of these squads fired in, and I've killed 3 scouts.
Yes.
Right. Let's do some proper shooting now. Let's unload Plague Burst Crawlers into Terminators. Here's the stubber. Only hits once. Wounds on a 3. It does wound -1. I'm trying to get that 2 off save off of him. No. And then the mortar has 3 shots, and it hits all the times, and it wounds all the times. They're -2, so 3 up saves on the shields, each doing 2 damage. That kills the injured one and puts one down to 1 wound, and then the entropy cannons, one of them hits, one of them wounds, 4 up and run. Death. Mortar number 2, entropy cannons in, one of them hits, and reroll 1s, and it wounds 4 up or death on this Terminator. Death. Then the stubbers on your sergeant with an extra wound hits twice, wounds twice at -1, so he has 3 up saves, and he's okay. And then the mortar comes in for only 2 shots. I've got 3 CP. Let's spend a CP and turn that into 3 shots. And they'll hit on 3s and wound on 2s. And he needs to make 4 up saves. And he bosses it. He's got 2 wounds remaining, which means Spurty Dude, who does 2 damage, has got to finish off your boss. D6 shots for 5 shots. Auto hits, in fact, which will wound on 2s and reroll 1s, and they're AP -3. He needs to make 5 invulnerable saves, Crux Terminatus, or this Olympiad, this disc thrower, gets removed.
Champion of the Dawn Olympics.
Close, very close, but the Terminator's 4. So it took all my firepower, all my shooting to get you off of that objective. Now we're coming on to the charge phase. You've got ACP. I know you can overwatch here, but let's charge into the Eradicators. Would you like to?
No.
I make the charge. At least on 1 CP, you can't pay to interrupt. These guys into Emperor's Champion for 9-inch charge. And it looks like this. Then squad number 4, or squad number 3, how many? I don't know how many charges. They go in to the big squad of Doom. But not very far, because I don't want to pull as many. I've killed 3 so far. Morale is still a thing, right?
Yeah.
Morale is still a thing. Hopefully I can kill a couple more. Now, the critical charge is 9 inches for my Lord of Virulence to get here.
Yes.
So, Papa Nurgle, hear my prayer. And that's a 7. So I'm going to spend a CP going down to 1 CP and still fail the charge. Okay, so it's about fighting over here. You can't pay to interrupt. We'll finish with the Emperor's Champion, but we'll start down here. I've got 11 attacks with Plague Knives, not really meaning to kill the Eradicators, just stop them shooting anything else. I'm hitting them on 3s. That one's really weird. And yes, toughness 5.
Yes.
But I reduce your toughness by 1, so I'm wounding on 4s, and that's 2 wounds at -1. And I injure 1 because they have 3 wounds each. So that's what we started. That's okay. Next, we'll come on to this squad, doing the same thing into that squad. Trying to do all I can to hurt this big horde in the middle of the battle grid on 3s. And I'm wounding them on 3s because of Contagions of Nurgle. And that is 5 wounds at AP -1. You've got neophytes or space marines you can choose to put this on.
This is going on the space marines.
Okay.
I want to keep 1 neophyte alive.
Yes.
Simply because it gives me access to smokescreen stratagems in your phase. So if you decide to shoot them with a big plague burst mortar, or with blast and things like that.
Scouts give you smoke screens.
They give you smokescreen.
Okay, so 5 4-up saves.
5 4-up saves.
And then, you failed 4 of them. But you have a 5-up shrug.
Yes.
You have a 5-up shrug. And 2 more die. That means I've killed 5 in that squad. Morale is a thing. Do you remember the morale phase? Horrible things can happen in the morale phase. Right, now we're going on to the Emperor's Champion. And I'm going to spend a CP on Trench Fighters to get my... He's got a 4-up in Vun and a 2-up save. Yeah, I have to spend my last CP on Trench Fighters and try and kill him. And he's -1 to hit. So here's all the attacks with the Plague Knives on 4s. And then 3s, re-rolling 1s. He's got 5 3-up saves to make. And he's good. And now we hit him with the Flail of Corruption on 4s. I hit him twice. And 3s. 1 wound. -4 up and Vun. He's fine. He's absolutely fine. I go charging in with Trench Fighters and smash him, and he's fine. Everything's fine. Oh dear. So the Emperor's Champion strikes back with his thrusting strike. It's -1 to hit because he does this, but it's 3 damage, which is important for Plague Marines because -1 damage. You kill them.
Hopefully.
Yes.
So hitting on 3s.
Yes. You hit twice.
Nice.
Woo! Papa Nurgle protected me.
And winning on 3s.
Yes. And it's AP -4. 3. You kill 1. Okay, I'm okay with that. Everything's fine here. Everything's fine here. And now we can pile in and consolidate and things with the big swarm. So after piling in, you managed to bring 5 Black Templars into the fight. So they're not going to be benefiting from any rerolls from the captain right now. I'm really pleased, by the way, that the Emperor's Champion's sword arm was tired after hacking a demon Primarch.
He's already got his prize.
I mean, I whiffed, so that was a count. That worked out okay in the end. Right, okay, so 5 guys here with mix of weapons. There's this power sword, there's 3 chainswords there. Where are we starting with first?
We'll start with the power sword.
Power sword.
Just going to do some work, hopefully.
Okay.
So
4 attacks because you're a Black Templar, yeah.
On 3s.
1 hit.
Nice.
Your dice have suddenly turned.
Yeah.
And 5s to wound.
4s to wound.
Oh yeah, 4s to wound because it's +1 strength power swords now. Nothing. Now the chainswords on 3s. And 5s, because I'm a Plague Marine. 3. They're -2 though. The Assault Doctrine always counts as in effect. You kill 1 of the Plague Marine, and then you've got the Pyre Flamer guy, the Flamer dude.
Yes.
He's got 3 attacks.
Got some good punches.
Yes.
Ooh, drop dice.
He hits all the time. Can he wound all the time? He can wound twice. But I'm okay. So I only lose 1 Plague Marine from that assault. And then we're coming on to Eradicators. 10 attacks, they hit on 3s. And they wound on 5s. And this is AP -1 as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you injure 1. And that's the end of the fight phase. And now we're on to the morale phase. You lost 9 guys there, but they're leadership 9 because of the chaplain.
Yes.
Yes. So you should be fine. You're not fine. 1 flees.
Yeah. How many dudes are left?
How many are left? 8 are left. So 8 1s coming up. 1 more 1, so 2 more flee in the morale phase. Oh, and I don't like the idea of Space Marines or Plague Marines fleeing in the morale phase. They succumb to their injuries.
They're extracting the neophytes.
Yes, and then fall back. So that is the end of my turn 3. What a mosh. So I've tied up the Eradicators to try and keep my tanks alive. And what I did here was try and engage these units that were pushing really hard, because I don't want you pushing down to my objective here. Mm-hmm. So I think I did pretty well tying this lot up, though I don't know how long they're going to stand there, because remember, there is a chaplain who's an absolute boss. There is a captain who's an absolute boss. But the idea was to tie you up. And I have. And I've taken that objective back over here. But the land raid will be free to fire for effect, because the Rhino can't charge it because it fell out of combat this turn, so I could shoot the Terminators. The only failed thing that happened was Gollus, my Lord of Virulence, could have come charging in and taken that objective off of you as well, and then that would have been a game changer. But as it still stands, the Black Templars are still at fighting form. The Emperor's Champion can't whiff 2 turns in a row, surely. Let's work out some points. So I do get another 3 points for engage, making it 19 points for 14. And neither of us are scoring these objectives because we keep pushing each other off and pushing each other off and pushing each other off. So 9 to 14. And at the start of turn 3 for the Black Templars, they're going to get 5 on the primary. So it's going to be 19-19 at the start of turn 3 for the Black Templars. Right, before we go any further, we're in the command phase, and your chaplain, Black Templars, have a stratagem called...
Bombastic Delivery.
No, it's Bombastic Delivery. Costs 2 CP.
Yes.
And one of the litanies auto goes off.
Yes.
So you can say, like, reroll hits, auto goes off.
Yeah.
Yeah?
So it will be the 5-up Feel No Pain automatically goes off.
And then he can chant 1 more than normal.
Yes.
And he can chant 2 normally. So
yes.
he's chant 1.
Yep.
And then he can chant an extra 1 anyway. And
yep.
he can do all 3.
He can do all 3.
So long as you don't roll snake eyes.
So
roll snake eyes.
Go wrong. So the first one
is okay.
Goes off.
Second one is okay.
Goes off.
So now you've got a 6-inch aura reroll hits around him.
Yes.
They've got a 5-up Feel No Pain and a 5-up Invulnerable Save one more time.
Yes.
Wow. Bombastic Delivery. The Black Templars shouting at the top of their lungs. Tear these traitors down. And then here we are after the movement phase. The Land Raider means to deal with this problem here, so then it can push forward in later turns. In the backfield, the intercessors that were rather close to my Lord of Contagion have advanced forward. It means that it's going to be an impossible charge to reach them now, but they are still in range of holding that objective down.
Yes.
So I'm going to have to do some running. Maybe I'll get there in turn 5. Maybe. The Apothecary is just chilling here. He's not in Oath range. He's not wholly within 6 inches centre. But the captain is, because he ran there.
The Apothecary might be, actually.
The Apothecary might be. Anyway, we'll check it out. But the captain definitely is. He's definitely in Oath range, which you'll get at the end of your turn. He advanced forward. So we had some advancing. That's it for this flank. However, round on the other flank, the chaplain comes bossing through, giving everyone here re-roll hits. The idea is to clear away as many Plague Marines as possible. And the Impulsor trundled back this way because he's got a shot through the trees at my Lord of Contagion in the backfield. So the intention is for the Black Templars to overwhelm this flank one more time, maybe put some shots over onto the right flank and get rid of the Rhino, and then hopefully consolidate forward in turns 4 and 5. So we start off the shooting phase with bolt pistols in close combat, firing in every single direction, and only 1 wound got put on one of these units of Plague Marines. And then we're coming across to the Land Raider, firing everything at the Rhino.
Multi-melter at the Rhino.
Yes.
Everything else at the Plague Marines.
I was listening. Yes. Okay. Multi-melter, Rhino, everything else. Yes, okay. Multi-melter?
Multi-melter.
Okay.
Multi-missive?
It hits twice. You're good. It wounds twice, and interestingly enough, that's minimum 6 damage at this range, and that doesn't have Disgustingly Resilient. The Rhino is dead and doesn't blow up. Now lots of guns are going to go into the Plague Marines. And then when the smoke clears, you kill 2 Plague Marines and put one down to 1 wound. So now the chaplain's going to fire across with his gun as well, try and kill off the last one. Staying in the tactical doctrine, that's what hurt the Plague Marines. The chaplain only hits once though. And he wound on a 5. He does wound, it's -2. You do kill that last one, so there is only 1 Plague Marine left there. I shouldn't have taken from that side. I should have taken from that side, so I'm still within 3 of the objective. Are you okay with that?
Happy with that.
Okay. Yes, I'm leaving them, so that guy's left there, who's not the sergeant and not the blight launcher, so morale might be a thing. Do you remember the morale phase?
There's something about
morale
this area.
might not be a thing. And this guy isn't within 3 inches of that, so I don't want to fail that morale test. But that's the shots from all the bolt pistols, the Land Raider, your thing. Now you're on to the Impulsor, because everyone else advanced.
Yes.
So the Impulsor's firing back at the Lord of Contagion.
Lord of Contagion.
Okay, forced to hit through the trees.
Multi-melters.
Yes. 1 hit.
No CP.
Hulk him to seek, forced to wound.
Forced to wound.
It wounds. 4-up invulnerable save, no CP to play with. I fail it, and this is D6 damage.
How many wounds has he got?
7.
7, okay.
Oh, that's 5 wounds. He's got 2 left. Maybe the Stormbolters can do it. You kept in the tactical doctrine for this thing. You hit once, though. Only once. 5s to wound.
All he needs.
Doesn't wound.
Apparently needed a bit more.
Gollus is on 2 wounds remaining. That's the end of the shooting phase. Now we're going to charge. The only charge is the Chaplain. He is automatically in, and he's attacking the Plague Marines. 5 attacks on the charge, hitting on 2s. And he re-rolls everything, not that he needs it. Strength 6, so winning on 3s. 4 wounds. And it's -2 because of the vow. So I need 5 up saves. Now each of these would do 2 damage, but it's 1 damage because I'm a Plague Marine. And he doesn't kill anyone. Right, because that's the only charge, I think I have to activate that unit and try and kill the Emperor's Champion because he can't whiff 2 turns in a row. Let's put everything into him. Yeah, I have an... Yeah, so this is the Plague Knives. -1 to hit you, though.
Yes.
So 4s, 5 hits. 3s to wound. 4 wounds at -1. He's okay. He's okay. Right, the flail. Come on, Nurgle. 4s, 3 hits. That's better than the 1 last time. 3s to wound. Reroll 1s, but not 2s. 4 up and bun. And he takes 2 wounds. He's down to 1 left. I haven't managed to kill him. Right, where do you want to go next? These guys, or do you want to go with him before the Rhino tries to run you over? We have been remembering the Rhino, but it hasn't done anything because it's a Rhino.
I'll do the Emperor's Champion because death by Rhino would be the most dishonourable thing I
can
think.
Because that means I can get to fight you first here.
I will take that risk because they've got a 5 up invulnerable save and they've got a 5 up feel no pain.
Okay, the Emperor's Champion then, 5 attacks. He's hitting on 2s and he's re-rolling everything this time.
So he's going to be hitting on 3s because of the profile.
Oh yeah.
Because I want to kill Plague
And 6 attacks, sorry, because your extra thing, yeah.
Yes, so 3s.
Okay, re-rolling.
Re-rolling for the Chaplain.
3s to wound. I don't get a save. And each of these does kill a Plague Marine. He wipes the squad. He destroyed Mortarion. He destroyed this squad despite it having 2 swings at him. He's still standing on 1 wound left. Bowed, but not unbroken. Right, let's go over here to these guys, hitting those guys. 6, 7 attacks. 4 wounds came through at -1. And you have 5 up shrugs. And a kill 1. After these Plague Marines swung at that squad, we came to the Eradicators. They did 1 wound to the Plague Marines, which fail a save and do kill the Plague Marine. So now, well, let's do the Plague Marines against them. And I got 4 wounds back on you, so that will kill the injured one and put 1 down to 1 wound. Then after that fight, you get back to the Horde, who can now pile in and swing at these 3 Plague Marines. So they pile in. We're starting off with the Sergeant with his sword, and he's hitting on 3s and re-rolling because the Chaplain is a bombastic orator. And he's winning on 4s. And this is AP -4. I won't get a save. And that will kill 1 and put 1 down to 1 wound. 2 Plague Marines left. Here's the chainswords. 3s. Re-rolling. 9 hits with the re-roll, wounding on 5s. At AP -2.
3 of them.
Yeah, there's 1 left on 1 wound. So it's the dude with the flamer. He's going to have to do it on his own. With his mate. Sorry, yeah. The 2 flamer mates. 1 wound to get through. Re-rolling to hit.
3s. Re-rolling.
And then 5s to wound at AP -1. 2 wounds. 2 4-up saves or the unit's wiped. The unit's wiped. Then after the combat, you consolidate back towards the closest enemy unit and get objective secured units within 3 inches of that objective. Glorious stuff. The last thing left to fire now, fight, is the Rhino on your Emperor's Champion. 6 to hit him on 1 wound. 3 attacks. Can it be done? Rev the engines. No. And that's the end of turn 3 for the Black Templars. I do have a morale over here. I lost 3 in their leadership 7 because that is not the champion. And 3 plus 5 is 8. He succumbs to his injuries, which means I don't get that objective.
There's something
Again,
going on here.
Something is definitely going on.
Presence of a Land Raider striking fear into the foes.
At the end of that turn, you get 3 points for Oath of Moment because you're within the centre. You did fall back, but you...
I failed a morale test.
You failed a morale test. Did you kill a character or vehicle or monster or anything?
I killed a...
Vehicle, yes. So you get 3 points for Oath of Moment, making it 22 points to 19.
Yes.
And you're all over this objective. And I've got a dude there, a dude down here, and that's it. And Gollus in the backfield. But it's only 22 points to 19. It's such a low scoring game. Maybe there is still a way back for the Death Guard in turn 4. Here we are after the Death Guard movement and psychic phase. I've got 5 points on the primary again, so it's 24 points to 22. I'm just winning by 2 points, and there's nothing I can do about taking this objective off of the Black Templars. There's not enough firepower I can rain down, so you will get your mission 1 finally. I did break away with the Rhino because we found out how nasty he can be, so I put it over there. And Gollus is in that quarter, and that tank's in that quarter, and then so I'm still maxing out my engage points. So you're running away on Oath. I am running away on Engage. There's no point breaking these guys out of combat. If you charge them in turn 4, then at least you're over here in turn 4, and they've stopped the Eradicators shooting anything else. I did put Miasma of Pestilence on that tank there. Now the plan is, I'm in all the quarters, Miasma on that tank there. I advanced with my Spurty Dude of Doom over here, and the plan is to shoot the Land Raider because that's the biggest threat to all of my stuff and try and hold on to this objective somehow. And one of the ways to hold on to this objective somehow will be kill the Land Raider and kill this unit back here. And killing this unit back here has the added advantage of only putting you on one objective. And Gollus advanced. So next turn, turn 5, he might be on there. Maybe, we'll see. Actually, it's turn 4, isn't it? And I score at the start of turn, so I'm not even going to score that one because you went second.
Yes.
Anyway, he might cause some trouble later on, but he advanced. So this is the plan. The plan is remove these, and then you've got that. Yes?
Correct.
Remove these, then you've got that, and it's still a really close game. So what I need to do is increase his range by 6 inches with the CP that I got back and spurt on them. So this is what we'll do. And we hit them 3 times, which I could re-roll. I'm not going to re-roll it because I'm going to wound them on 2s and re-roll 1s. And that's really cocked. And that's AP -3, 2 damage.
So within range of the barricade?
Yes. So 5 up saves. And 2 of them get melted to sludge. Next up, the tank that moved forward is going to put the stubber and the mortar down there. And the entropy cannons into the Land Raider. So let's do the mortar onto the dude to the back, which is 6 shots. This might work. They do have a 4 up save though. 3s to hit. I hit 5 times. 2s to wound. I wound 5 times. 5 4 up saves on the brave intercessors holding on to the objective in the backfield. And they get blown to hell. And that keeps you from running away on the objective points, potentially. Mm-hmm. And then the 2 entropy cannons into the Land Raider on 3s. They both hit. And 4s to wound. Reroll 1s to wound. 1 wound. 6 up save on the Land Raider. And this is D3 plus 3 damage for 5 damage. It puts it down to 6 left, but I need to kill it. So the second mortar, 2 entropy cannons. See, the mortar could also fire. 1 minute. I need to kill the Land Raider. Everything into the Land Raider. Here's the 2 entropy cannons. This will work. They both hit. 4s to wound. They don't wound. D6 shots with a mortar for 1 shot, which hits and rerolls 1s and doesn't wound. Stubbers. 1 wound. I've done a wound to the Land Raider. And you failed the save. It's down to 5 left. Right, it's not dead. See, everyone's worried about Plague Burst mortars, but the entropy cannons are strength 8, and when you've got a toughness 8 Land Raider, Land Raiders are the epitome for me of Warhammer 40k. They're so grimdark. A box. An absolute box. I think that's the end of my shooting phase. Yes, that's the end of my shooting phase, because Plague Marines do not have pistols. So now we need to fight, and these Plague Marines will take on the Eradicators. After the Eradicators fight first. 3 stick. Okay. Their arms are getting tired. And 5s to wound.
1 wound. -1.
You injure 1. Hit you back on 3s. And wound you on 4s. A wound. And -1 does kill that injured one. And that is the end of my turn 4. I get 3 points for the engaging. So that's 27 points to 22. 27 points to 22. But you'll only get 5 for the primary, which will make it 27 points each.
Yep.
Plus an extra 2 points because you've finally got one of the mission ones down here. Make it 27 points to 29 in favour of the Black Templars. As we go into Black Templars, turn 4. Here we are after the Black Templars movement and command phase. Their captain senses victory and climbs the tower in the middle of the battle grid, shouting insults down at the Death Guard and claiming his oath of moment. Over on the right flank, the Land Raider means to take down this character here for assassinate. The Impulsor has lines up shots for either the Rhino or the other character down there. And then everyone else is in the middle, holding on to that objective with the champion. Don't need to go anywhere. That's a mission-specific one. You'll get 2 again and 2 again. Meanwhile, you charge with the Emperor's champion after the remaining Plague Marines over there. And there's an apothecary down here, just in case the captain dies. He can jump up and get oath next turn as well. So they've stamped where they mean to stay. They are holding on to these critical objectives and now mean to deliver the killing blow to the Death Guard. Multi-melters into my Foul Blight Spawn, hitting on 4s. And one of them hits, will wound on a 2. It doesn't wound. Command point? It does wound. I don't get a save, and it is D6 plus 2, which is enough to wipe him out. I'm assuming all the guns were going into him.
Oh, yes.
All the guns. From the Land Raider to the Impulsor, putting multi-melters into Gollus one more time. And you hit both times. Wounding on 3s. 4s because of transhuman, Hulking Pursuit, yeah. 1 wound. I make the invulnerable save. The Storm Bolters bounce. Then we had pistols into combat over here. And now we charge. And he's got 6 attacks and he hits on 3s. And he hits 4 times and he'll wound on 3s at strength 9. And I don't get a save and each one will kill a Plague Marine. Which leaves 1 Plague Marine left. Who will try and kill the Emperor's. Round 4 actually against the Emperor's champion. And I miss. And then he takes a morale. And it's not the sergeant because the sergeant was engaged with him. So his morale is, oh, he's okay. I finally passed the morale test. And at the end of turn 4, you get 4 points for oath, getting you up to 12 points for oath because you killed a character.
Yep.
You were in the center, you didn't fall back. You get another 3 points for assassinate. And that gets the Black Templars up to 36 points to my 27. And in turn 5, I will get 5 points for this one here. So that'll be 32 points to 36. I won't get any of the mission secondaries, and I might be able to get an assassinate secondary or 1 engage point. So I threw everything at the apothecary to get an extra 3 points for assassinate. Mm-hmm. And then I've got my 3 points for engaging, which gets me up to a final score of 38 points to your 36. And then at the start of turn 5, 5 points for that. Another 2 points for the mission. Another maximizing your oath. It will be a Black Templars victory. And we will say this is the way the world ends. Yeah, then we ran through turn 5. I killed the Land Raider, killed the dude behind there, and the apothecary. That gets me up to 48 points with a painting score. 15 for engage, 3 for assassinate, 20 on the primary. 48 points. But at the end, you max out oath for 15. You've got 4 on the mission. 10 for assassinate because you killed Gollus in the backfield in turn 5. Mm-hmm. You finally managed to kill him. And then 25 on the primary. So 74 points to the Black Templars to 48. Basically, it was a really low scoring game until the last couple of turns. the Black Templars pushed through. We were fighting over these middle objectives and then you managed to
secondaries for it. So.
Yeah. You managed to win the fight over here. I think if I'd have killed the Black,
Two up saves, minus one to hit.
Interestingly enough, if I'd have gone second and you'd have pushed forward, and then I'd had the counter charge on you and pushing you off of objectives. Interestingly, it could have the mirror could have been flipped potentially.
Think going second was actually very beneficial to me there.
Yeah, I mean, you managed to steal this one again and get your 10 on the primary. Him failing a charge and dying.
Yeah.
That could have been different if I'd have stolen that again. Again, so it was 48 points to 74. You win. You clearly win. 48-74. Just look at the points there.
I mean, the score is not reflective of what's happened. I find that's the case a lot of the time in 9th edition. Yeah. The score is often not reflective of how close the game actually feels.
Exactly. A couple of different dice rolls here or there. It could have been a different game. And it was a very close game until it wasn't. Ultimately, at the end, I have only got 4 models left. You did a lot of killing. You killed 30 Plague Marines. You know how hard it is to kill 30 Plague Marines?
It was a slog.
And Mortarion. And it's the first time you've gone up against the Demon Primarch. And you took his head.
Yes.
And not only did you take his head, you took his head with the Emperor's Champion.
I don't think his head will fit on the Emperor's Champion's base, unfortunately.
No. I don't know if you take his head either, because he sort of transmutates back into the warp in an explosion.
I take the pride of killing the Demon Primarch.
I slayed him. You could do the old Drago thing and carve your name into his heart.
EC was here.
Yeah, the Emperor's Champion was here with the back. So that was really tactical. There were turns where we had to stop and think, how was it for you, honey?
Oh, I'm hot and sweaty.
What do you think? So you played quite a few games with the new Black Templars book now.
Yeah.
What do you think of your book? What do you think of your army?
I really like what they've done for the list building aspect of things. I think the vowels are really cool. I think there's three fluffy vowels and one kind of competitive vow.
Yeah.
The competitive one being a 5-up invuln on everything.
Yeah.
But like I said, I really like what they've done from a list building perspective. The only thing I would maybe look at changing would be really nice if the Emperor's Champion wasn't an HQ choice and was a no force org or something like that. But
he's the Emperor's Champion.
Don't get me wrong, I love the book.
Yeah.
Did it need to come before other things have a
No,
codex?
we had that conversation. I mean, Tyranids, Eldar, Chaos, but everyone should have all their codexes first before the supplements come out. I mean,
precisely.
Everyone who plays 40k believes that that's the thing, except for Games Workshop and make all the things for it.
I will wait 2 years.
Yeah.
Take the book back, I'll wait 2 years, everybody gets a codex, please.
Yeah. Give the Tau, give everyone a codex first before we bring out these supplements, but that's what they've done. And the new Black Templars, I like the chaplains and the fact that the chaplains now do what librarians can do, and you bring a couple of them. I like this 5-up Feel No Pain, 5-up Invulnerable Save, big squad. I didn't put much firepower into them, not because I knew it would be a slog to kill them.
Yeah.
Because you can also
really
spend 2 CP and put transhuman on them as well if you really want to.
Spend another CP and smokescreen them.
And smokescreen them, yeah. So they actually... Yes, they didn't take much firepower until they did, but because you buffed them, I chose not to shoot at them. So it's a price that your opponent has to think about paying. The Land Raider didn't do much.
Land Raider did a lot.
Land Raider didn't do much, but it's good in a Black Templars list to see a Land Raider.
You've got to take them. It's a Land Raider. It is 40k.
Take a Godhammer pattern Land Raider.
Oh no, it's Black Templars.
Take a Godhammer.
It's Black Templars. It's
okay,
the Crusader.
Yeah. Well, I think in your list, it'd be nice if you had a Repulsor instead of a Land Raider.
Maybe.
And because then you can actually fit Primaris in it.
But then it's not a Black Templar Land Raider Crusader.
Okay, that thing is awesome. That's so 40k as well. I mean, it is good stuff. So interesting list, interesting codex. Always fun. It's always fun playing with Mortarion. I like him. It's just obnoxious and fun, and throw him forward and see how long he can last.
It's a really interesting challenge to have to deal with.
Yeah. And you didn't hurt him with the big guns. It was all the little guns, all the niggle. It's like, what's going on?
Death by 1,000 needles. I think I probably did more wounds with small arms fire than I did with Eradicators.
Yeah, it was very Dark Eldar of you. Well done. Interesting enough, Delirium the Corrupt actually survived a game for his first time ever. But that was really good fun. Thanks for coming down. I hope you enjoyed that battle report. I hope everyone watching enjoyed the battle report. Terrain is from gamemat.eu. Battle Mat is from urbanmats.com. If you'd like more videos from me, then please consider subscribing to deploymentzone.tv. It's a great way to support me, and you get a lot of videos, and you come along to events and things. Like you've been along to a chunk of events.
Yes.
And you've got a chunk more coming.
I'm going to one next week.
Going to one next week, our narrative event, which will be over and done with by the time this video comes out. And then we've got an event in next year, the weekend of Bernie's one.
Yeah.
Then there's
King of the North.
King of the North is happening in January. Are you going to that one?
I'm not going to King of the North.
I'm going to King of the North, but not Weekend of Bernie's. But I am going to the new Southwest Showdown, which hasn't been announced yet, but that's near your neck of the woods, so we'll do that one.
And that's in March, and then there's another one in June or something like that.
And the thing I like about these events is they're all noob friendly, they're all like relaxed, casual, a chance for the community to get together and throw dice. So if you are in the UK and you're interested in coming to lots of noob-friendly events and casual events, then deploymentzone.tv is the place to be. We've also got once a month, every month, it's the DZ Days in Belper to go to, and then you guys do meetups at big Bristol Independent Gaming. Shout out to Bristol Independent Gaming, Bristol, really nice people there. So lots of events and community things happening. Also, it also pays my mortgage and puts food on the table. So please consider subscribing to deploymentzone.tv. Happy wargaming.